Now, please. Let's stand and pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would need a motion and a second to approve the adoption of tonight's agenda.
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. I would need a motion and a second to approve March 3rd and March 24th minutes.
I made a point of clarification on March 3rd minutes. Under number 12, where it says Commissioner Morris made a motion to approve the request for voluntary annexation from the Old Farm Place subdivision. I believe that should say something more like approve the request for petition for, what's the word?
That was the petition for the voluntary annexation, and it was approving the petition in form to be set for a public hearing.
Okay. The way it reads, it sounds like we approved it. Okay. Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, are you on March 24th too? yet?
No, I'm just on March
Okay.
3rd.
So you got 24th.
He asked about that. That was the only thing I noticed on March 3rd.
On the 24th, I thought we called for a public hearing, but it's not on this meeting.
For public hearing for what?
Mount Vista,
We didn't have time to have it advertised. You have to have at least 10 days or, it's 25 days or 10. And that was on the 23rd, and we only have a 1 day a week paper. So we didn't have time to have it advertised for the public hearing. And I did let, Ira Matney know that at the meeting, that it would be at our May 5th meeting.
Anything else? All right, I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve this as amended, both dates, March 3rd and March 24th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on this? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Public comment. Citizens may speak on items not listed on the printed agenda. Please state your name and address and observe the 3-minute time limit. Do we have anyone that signed up for tonight? No. Proclamation for April 2025 Public Health Month. Public Health Month, Lillian Koontz. Hey Lil, good to have you with us tonight. I have a proclamation I'd like to read this time. Whereas the Davidson County Health Department has served the community for more than 100 years and provided immeasurable contributions to enhancing the quality of life of our residents. And whereas the public health programs have evolved over the past century from a focus on sanitation and controlling the spread of infectious diseases to now also preventing the onset of chronic diseases, and whereas the significant increase in life expectancy is widely credited to improvements in public health programs, and whereas public health promotes improved lifestyles by providing services and supporting policies to help young people stay well and develop into healthy adults. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Larry Ward, Mayor of the town of Denton, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 as Public Health Month and encourage all citizens of Denton to take the steps to protect and promote the health and well-being of their families by making healthy personal lifestyle choices and seeking regular preventive health care. Lillian, we're glad to have you with us tonight. Have you got anything you'd like to say about what's going on at the health department?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Thank y'all so much for, again, recognizing April as Public Health Month. I would love to say that I got to Denton more often, but I know to look forward to this every April, and it's so wonderful to join y'all. The health department's staying busy right now, trying to stay on top of communicable diseases. That's really what's keeping our focus right now. Y'all may have seen in the national news, we're watching measles outbreaks in other states and hoping that they stay far, far away from us, because that's not something we want here. But we are staying on top of that and have plans in place in case that we are recognized with that. And Mayor Ward, if you ever want to call me Lillian, that's just fine. That's the way I was growing up to being talked to. So Lillian is like more of a...
Really?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Everybody back home calls me Lillian. So, thank you so much. And we really do appreciate that, y'all. Thank y'all.
We appreciate the job you do. Thank you for being here tonight. Presentation from SCW for Town Facilities Camera System. Danny Mize.
So you guys have a printout that we provided. I did send it by email. This is a little bit later on Friday afternoon. And this shows proposed cameras for 3 locations: Town Hall, the Outdoor Market, and Harrison Park. Reached out to SCW to have a crew come down, do a review of all of our town facilities, and then gave us the proposal for these 3 as like a first phase, and then they also went in and took specs for this public works, water, and sewer. It is a system that can be accessed and can be updated with more cameras, and also over the years you can add other locations if you need to. So I'm gonna get Mr. Danny on line. Danny, are you with us already?
I am.
Okay, great.
Are you ready for me?
Yes, sir. You just go right ahead.
Okay. Awesome. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Turn my volume up here. Well, thanks for allowing me to sit in on your council meeting. I'm excited to help you guys out with this camera project. Generally, when we start these out, I like to just introduce myself, tell a little bit about our company, and then just kind of dive right in. So, a little bit about me. My name is Danny Mize. I'm an account executive with SCW Security. I've been with the company for a little bit over 3 years now. SCW is an Asheville-based security company, so we're pretty close to you guys, just a short trip away. And we love helping out our local communities. So, SCW has been in business for about 15 years now, and we have a lot of experience working with government institutions as well as companies of varying sizes. So we're really excited to help out with this project. Just kind of getting started here. Before I dive into the details, does anybody have any questions just right off the bat?
I don't believe so.
No, sir.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to start out by sharing my screen here. Move this around. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
This is actually what you have a copy of in your packet.
Yeah, so in the packet you'll have 3 different quotes that are going to look pretty much just like this. Attached to each of them will also be a scope of work where it's going to show you what we'll be doing, what cameras we're going to be utilizing, and then the mounting positions for each of those. Maybe a little bit small on the photos on your end, but I'm happy to send over full-size copies if needed. And rather than just jumping into the quote itself, this is a lot of text to go through, I like to start with a map. That way we can see what we're getting. So this is an overhead of Denton, and I've got multiple cameras placed at the 3 priority sites. So each of these cones is representative of a camera, and it's going to be the facial recognition distance of each camera. So we'll start over here at the left at Town Hall. We've got 2 cameras on this building, one out front, which is a 180-degree ultra-wide camera, you'll be able to see both directions going down that sidewalk. On the back side of the building, we have a wide angle camera. That way you'll be able to see all the way across the back side of the building as well as the entire parking lot. Moving over to the farmer's market. You had one camera out front already. We'll be replacing that one with a 4K version, so it's going to be higher resolution, better quality, and we're adding an additional camera to the back side of that building. Moving up to Harrison Park. When I talked with Angel previously, it sounded like you guys have had some issues with vandalism at the park. So all of these exterior cameras we're going to be installing are vandal resistant. They're impact resistant domes, so they will be able to hold up to people hitting them with stuff. Somebody hits it with a rock or a stick, something similar. And then that also adds an additional layer of protection from the elements. So we've got one of these cameras on each corner, a dedicated camera looking over at the playground area, and they're also going to have an additional camera looking back into the pavilion itself. So you've got complete coverage around Harrison Park there. Does anyone have any questions about the exterior coverage?
Is that sitting on a pole in the middle of Harrison Park? Is that where they're mounted?
I'm sorry, what was that? I'll turn you up here.
Is it sitting on a pole in the middle of Harrison Park? Is that where the cameras are mounted?
No, where they're currently located, all around the
Okay.
pavilion.
On the pavilion,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, they'll be on the pavilion. Since you guys already have some cable in place, that's really awesome because it allows us to just essentially drop in replacements. That's going to make the project a lot cheaper. You keep the same exact mounting locations you had before. It's just going to be higher quality cameras going in. And we're just going to reuse all those mounting points underneath the pavilion there and drop those impact resistant cameras in. All right, any other questions about the exterior? All good, we can move on then. So moving on to Town Hall, we do have some interior cameras here. We've got multiple cameras in this hallway. It's kind of hard to tell. Let me turn the transparency down. So again, each of these cones is going to be the facial recognition of each camera. So if anybody is within the boardroom, front admin office, you'll be able to make out faces. Same thing with this main hallway. The hallway is going to have cross coverage. So you've got one on each end, as well as this dual lens camera in the middle. That way you've got cross coverage in each direction. I did talk to Angel about plans for the future when this eventually gets turned over to the police department, and I believe we're going to be adding an additional camera inside for the evidence locker, but this will get you guys off the ground for right now. Does all that make sense for everyone?
Yes.
Perfect. Going over to the quotes then. You guys have this in front of you. I'm sure you looked over the pricing. This is going to be a total price at the bottom of each quote. This will be your all-in before sales tax. And then this is a turnkey installation, so includes equipment, labor, everything will be set up properly. You'll have a dedicated project manager, Craig, which is the gentleman that came out and walked with Angel to all of these sites. So he's very familiar with the sites. Just starting out with Town Hall, we have a project total on this one of $8,909.50. For the farmer's market, $3,342 even. Get back out of that. And then for Harrison Park, $6,407.20. That brings our total phase one rollout for these three priority sites to $18,658.70. These will be for the initial three sites. We've already spoken with our project managers and installation partners to ensure that we can get this done before your festivals in July. So we're ready to move forward essentially as soon as you guys are.
Danny, can you repeat that final total? I was searching in pages. What was the final total?
Yeah, absolutely. So the total phase one rollout cost is $18,658.70.
Okay, thank you.
And that will be all you pay for the entire project. Support is 100% free for life. We'll also get you guys trained up on the system. So anybody that needs to use it, we'll ensure that you're trained properly on it. You'll have access to our Asheville-based tech support team if you ever have any questions or need additional training. And then we do have local resources as well. So if we ever needed to come out and help with troubleshooting, or you guys needed to do anything additional to the system in the future, we'd be able to roll the truck out and help you guys out. There are no, sorry, go ahead.
There's no monthly, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to get to. No monthly. So it's buy once, cry once.
And those cameras, say like at the farmer's market, will they pick up a car at the intersection?
Yeah, they definitely should. So it might not pick up the entire intersection over that way, but within this cone, that's a facial recognition distance, and then you should be able to at least make out like the type of car. You'd be able to tell if it was like a black Chevrolet truck or, you know, a red Honda or something, if you were familiar with cars. I'm actually going to show you guys what the software looks like and kind of the level of detail you can expect from the cameras too, so we can dive into that soon as well.
Commissioner Morris, we did look at possibility of maybe mounting a camera that could be there at the intersection for our, what we're looking at, maybe license plate readers and also cars, because what it'll show you is that you can program it in to track white vehicle or how many white vehicles come through. So he'll show you that. It probably will be our benefit to add that as the next phase for picking up other areas.
And that's definitely something that we can do in the future. I know that the chief is already using flock cameras for some license plate capture, so if you guys wanted to continue to use those, that's totally fine too. But our system does have the capability of adding ALPR, automatic license plate recognition, to it. So you can view all of this in that dashboard. And that's something I didn't touch on, but all of these locations, they'll be able to be centrally viewed and monitored. So if the chief wants to pull up all the cameras on his computer at his desk, he can do it. And then that scales up. If you guys add additional sites down the road, same thing. With that being said, I've spec'd these systems out to have 30 days of footage retention. So you'll get at least 30 days of retention on all of these systems, since there's 3 individual ones. If you needed to add additional in the future, you can absolutely do that as well.
Danny, will these record continuously or only upon movement?
They can do both. So by default, we spec them to record 24/7. With that, all of these cameras that we have on the exterior here, they have what's called AI analytics on them. So you can also have them create events if it detects a person or a vehicle. That makes it super easy to go back and search for footage. So that way, if something happened, you don't have to scroll through 24 hours of footage to find it. You can just pull up the events that has a person or a vehicle in it, and it really helps with time to actually locate that footage. If it's an area where you don't need to record 24/7, you can also set it to just record on those events. Those events will have a buffer, so it will record anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds before that event happened. That way you get context leading up to it. If you've ever used like a Ring camera or something similar, it kind of skips around if it's just on motion. This won't be like that. You'll be able to see exactly what happened before it got triggered.
Okay, thank you.
And Danny, adding to this system, if we wanted to add the police department or intersection up on 109, would that be possible?
Absolutely. So our system can handle multiple NVRs, network video recorders, all within the same software. So I'm going to stop sharing this and I'll pull up our software and just kind of segue into that. So this is what the software looks like. Whenever you go into it, there's multiple different viewing options. I'm just going to pull up live view right now, that way we can get into it quick. I actually created a specific demo for you guys, that way we can see the cameras we'll be using. But whenever you go into your cameras here, if you had multiple NVRs, multiple locations set up, they would be listed here. I only have access to the warehouse. I'm in sales, they don't trust me with a bunch of stuff, I guess, but I've got the one where system here. We do have our main office, which is over there, that has a system in it. And then we have some tenant spaces that there's one on as well. But you'd be able to pull up each individual NVR in here. You can create custom views. You can pull in different cameras from different locations. So if you wanted to have one big screen pulled up with every exterior camera across the town, you could do that. You would just create a view in here and pull the cameras up. In this case, I've just got the 4 cameras, but if you wanted to do 16 all the way up to 64, you can do that, and then you can just drag and drop cameras wherever you need them. Or if you just want to view them all, you can click the NVR and it will pull every camera up on it. And it looks like I have audio enabled, so I was actually talking through a couple of cameras. Didn't need to do that. So pulling back up the demo system, I'll just kind of click through the cameras and show you guys what it would look like. If you're looking at the screen right now, you're probably seeing these blue boxes and wondering what the heck those are. Those are intrusion detection zones, and those AI analytics that we were talking about, people or vehicles, you can set those up to work within certain parameters. So let's say you don't want to capture every car that drives by on the main street. You just want them in the farmer's market parking lot. You can create a boundary up here and only get notified if there are vehicles in that parking lot. You can do it time-based as well. So if it's during farmer's market hours, you probably don't want to be notified every time a car pulls in there. But if it's late at night, maybe you do. All right, before I dive into the cameras, did you guys have any questions about the software just right off the bat?
You were talking about setting parameters. Is it difficult to set like a boundary?
I would say it's probably just based on your level of comfortability with tech, but if you ever have an issue with setting this up, that's what our support team's here for. Whenever we do the initial system configuration, if you want anything like this, we can just go ahead and do it for you as well. And then we can also train you on how to do it. We can remote into your system if necessary and walk you through how to do it step by step. So it's not just going to be like, we sell you the equipment, we install it, and then good luck, you got to figure it out on your own.
Okay.
We're not going to set you up for failure. We'll make sure that it's all set up properly. If you need to tweak anything in the future, that's what our support team's here for. There's a phone call away or email, whatever your preference is, and we'll make sure that it's set up to your specifications.
Thank you.
Danny, is there any daily maintenance required?
No daily maintenance required. Once we set the system up, it pretty much just runs. The only thing that you really have to do daily is if you wanted to pull footage daily. Otherwise, it's going to continue to record until the hard drives fill up. At that point, it will overwrite the oldest footage. So you pretty much just set it and forget it until something happens.
If we put one, say, at the top of the Heath intersection, how does it get back to the mothership? Is it internet-based or satellite or?
So we could set up a wireless antenna. It's called a point-to-point bridge. Essentially what we would do is as long as the camera has power that we can tap into, we can then create a wireless connection between 2 points. So if it's close to another one of these network video recorders, one of the recorder boxes, we can just beam it back to that box and then it'll record to whichever box we set it up with. We can also do standalone systems where if you don't need to access it constantly, maybe you just let it run by itself and then you have to go down there to check it. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about it, but usually for license plate cameras, they can be in some pretty tricky spots, right? So we're familiar with setting up wireless networks to make sure that they function properly. I wish I had the other system on here and I could show you one that we've got set up. Maybe I could use our PTZ to show you. This isn't a camera that you guys have on here, but just for showing you guys kind of what that would look like. So like this camera on the pole over here, we have a wireless connection over to it. You'll see there's a little bitty, I'll just circle it here. So there's the camera, and then right above it, that is actually a wireless antenna and receiver. So since we couldn't run a cable across the parking lot here without digging up the asphalt, we're just beaming the signal from our main office over to it, and then it's transmitting the video back to the main office. So if we're going to deploy multiple cameras like that throughout the town, we'll just have to get creative with how we mount them and where we send the signal to, but that's something that we're not a stranger to doing, so we can handle the networking aspects of it to make sure that they get set up how you need it.
Is there a battery backup or anything if the power's out for some time?
So on all these systems, we spec'd out a UPS, the universal power supply. So I believe the one that we're using on this one is 850 volt hours, and depending on how many cameras you have on it, that could last a pretty good amount of time. I have a similar one on my computer at home, and I probably get about 4 hours out of my battery backup when I have all my work stuff set up. You may get a little less than that on the camera system itself, but if the power goes out or if it flickers, you have any brownouts like that, it's also going to be a surge protector to protect the system.
How long does it typically store data? I know you said it just goes until it rewrites and fills up, but what's the average amount of time that people have the data stored?
We spec it out by default to 30 days. That tends to be what most businesses and just people that reach out to us want. Some folks have higher storage requirements, like let's say the cannabis industry. Some of those guys have to have multiple years of footage. So we spec it out to our client-specific needs. I've got you guys set up for 30 days right now, but if you wanted more than that, we can go back and revise it. We can always add more storage space later. It's as easy as adding an additional hard drive to the recorder.
Okay, thank you.
Does 30 days sound sufficient for you guys, or were you hoping for something else?
Chief, what do you think?
Well, there are times like the storage units, when they got broken into, sometimes people don't know for, 60 days if they don't check their storage unit. And that was one of the problems with Flock. They only allowed 30 days nationwide, so sometimes it's helpful to have a longer time period than that.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of companies do limit it to 30 days, and that's typically companies that are doing cloud infrastructure, because you have to rent cloud storage space. You have to rent a server, pay somebody else for it, and that gets expensive. All of this is local, so it's not a big deal for us to add more. You don't have to pay any monthly fees or anything like that. And then we can even do it per camera. So let's say you have a system with 4 cameras on it. Maybe 3 of them you only need a week, but then the other one's a very important camera that you need to retain, 6 months on. We would just need to make sure that it was set up properly for you guys to get that. Out of the 3 locations that we're talking about now, are there any of these that you would need additional storage space at?
30 should probably be sufficient for those. I would think down the road with LPRs, I think sometimes more than 30 is helpful. Where is the hard drive house? Where will it be housed?
So each, Danny, am I saying it correctly that each location would have their own housed recorder? So Harrison Park, Town Hall, and the Farmers Market?
Mhm.
So they can
Yeah,
access
each
that
lo-
information through an app?
Correct. Each location will have its own recording box. That's where the hard drive is stored, so it's all physical media, local. And then you can access it remotely through either this view station application that I'm pulling up. You can pull it up via a web page if you wanted to pull up the IP address. And then you can also pull it up on our SCW Go mobile app. So if you wanted to put it on your cell phone, you can pull the cameras up that way. And I know I just a live view, but you can also do playback. I'm going to close out a live view. My computer's not the strongest, so it goes kind of slow if I have multiple things pulled up. But if you wanted to view your cameras and play back the footage, right now I've just got the 4 cameras pulled up that we were talking about previously. You can pick any time down here to look at it on each individual camera, or you can do synchronous playback. So if you wanted to look at 8:30 on all of your cameras, you can do that too. Take a second to load there. And this is a good one. So you see that black car there? It's actually got a bounding box around it because it's a moving vehicle. So that's the AI analytics picking up that specific car. And as long as that car is in the frame and moving around, it's going to pick it up.
If we wanted to zoom in on that car, could we?
You sure can. You can do digital zoom and zoom in like this. You can do that in live view and in playback.
Toyota Prius.
Depending on the camera, we have a couple of different resolutions on here. The one that we were just looking at was the ultra wide 5 megapixel camera. So its overall resolution isn't as high as some of the impact resistant cameras. Let me see. So these purple lines down here, they're events as well. Let's see if we can pick one up with a car. Zoom in a little further. Oh, person. So if I wanted to see what this guy was doing, I found him on the feed down here, and then I can just zoom in, see who that is.
Good.
Same thing with cars. This is probably about 125 feet away for this specific camera, so it's a little tough to make that license plate out, but you can almost make it. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said you can get close on being able to tell what it was.
Yeah, I mean, you could get with, that's probably at LEC 3525, if I had to guess.
That's my bad.
So, but that's a pretty far distance away, so if it was closer, you'd definitely be able to make it out.
Is that the same resolution camera that we would have?
It is.
Okay.
So on the maps that you have in front of you, all of the blue cones, those are essentially the same camera I'm looking at here. The only difference is this specific camera doesn't have the impact resistant dome on it. It's the same exact resolution, same exact specifications. So if you were to pull your system up, once it's installed, this is exactly what you could expect. Once you start zooming in, it gets a lot clearer. This is also a pretty small screen that I'm on. So, but then if you needed to pull in footage, you can always clip it from here. It has an event log on the right side, and we'll train you guys on how to do all of this.
Danny, can you show a night vision?
Absolutely. Let's go 4A. That sounds good to me. We can just click through the cameras here. So this is that ultra wide camera. These all have infrared night vision as well as low light color vision. It's really dark in our parking lot, which is why they're all in infrared. But if there's any lights around it, they do have oversized sensors to pick up additional light. So a lot of times they'll actually record in color if there's good street lights next to it. Click over to this one. You can still zoom in at night. It's still pretty clear, but since it's infrared, it's in black and white.
Do they make an hour illuminator to extend the range of it at night?
I'm sorry, what was that?
That's an IR. Our Public Works Director is asking if they make an IR illuminator to extend the vision at night.
So all of these have IR illuminators built in. Let me actually,
I'm just playing on all my night scopes, I upgraded that, and it give me 100 yards.
if you had an IR illuminator, you probably could get additional distance out of it. I've not actually tried that. All the cameras are going to have that built in, and most of them are around 100 feet. Let's see here. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds or specs, but most of them are usually around 75 to 100 feet, depending on the camera. So for most of the locations that we've got spec'd out, that should be really good coverage. Double check here. Yeah. Every camera that we've got spec'd out is at least 100 feet. Some of these cameras too, depending on the spot, I spec'd out everything as an impact resistant camera, but if there are spots where you guys have that aren't very well lit, we do have cameras with white lights too. So you could use it as like a security light, where if it detected a person or vehicle, it could flash a strobe, or it could just act as a security light and be illuminated the second it's dark outside. I don't think I have any of those set up on this specific demo unit. Alright, so that was live view, playback, and then I know we're kind of coming up on the 30 minutes I told Angel I would take, but I'll also show you guys the VCA search, which is behavior search. If you wanted to pull up specific cameras and look for vehicles or people, you can definitely do that. Let's try this command here. We'll do today, and I want to look for pedestrians. I'm accessing all of this remote right now. I'm actually in Ithaca, New York at the moment, so you can seriously view it from anywhere, as long as you have an internet connection. And then this is what the behavior search would look like. So if I wanted to look for people on the camera, I would just pick out which camera it was. You can specify a time frame, distance. So if you want to do today, 3 days, 7 days, or you can get really granular and do it by minutes. But then it's going to show you images of each person that walked past that camera. Makes it really easy to find the person you're looking for. It's going to tell you what time it was. You can click into it. It's going to show you the overall view. If I make this big, it's not going to look right because I'm on a really big monitor. But you can make it big and zoom in, as well as just download the footage here. And you can also view a snippet of video that goes along with that event. And for this specific camera, it does have garment search as well, so it can tell that this guy has a white upper garment on. So if you search for upper garments, you can specify it here and actually find people that match a physical description. So if you're looking for somebody with a red shirt, you can hit search, look for red. There was nobody. If we pull up white, it's going to pull that guy back up. Probably along with several other people. Yeah, there we go. Looks like that's both of our warehouse guys, Hamish and Davis. Do you guys have any questions about the operation of the system?
How does it work?
Y'all have any other questions for Danny? Okay. Danny, thank you so much. We appreciate your time tonight showing us the program.
Absolutely. And I would say that if you guys did want to dive into this a little bit more, I'm happy to set up a demo just like I did with Angel for the actual software demo. We could even set up dedicated time for James to hop back on and run everyone through it. I know I just kind of gave you guys a brief overview, but there's a lot to it. pretty powerful software, so I didn't want to just drown you guys with information tonight.
Thank you so much. Are y'all-
One question.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Danny, how long is that price good for?
That's a great question because I'm sure all of you are aware of the tariffs that are going on right now. So our leadership is meeting this week to discuss pricing just because I like to be as transparent as possible. We do source components from China, Taiwan, Vietnam, and a lot of those are affected. So we're currently seeing around a 54% increase in our cost on this, but since we do have stock here, we don't want to increase prices on anything. But we're thinking in the next couple of weeks, there should be an increase of about 25% on this stuff. If we accept the proposals, it'll lock in the price. So I would say the sooner that you guys are able to make a decision, the sooner I'd be able to tell our CEO, Matthew, like, hey, we're going to lock them in on pricing on this. We can increase it. They're going to move forward with it. And then the pricing itself is good for 30 days. Unless we need to make an executive decision to increase prices across the board, which I'll be very forthcoming with that information. As soon as I know additional information about it, I'll let you guys know. It's not going to be like, oh, well, you didn't know, so now the price is 25% more. I'll know a few days before we do it. I'll let you know, hey, Matt and Micah, our CEO and COO too, they've made a decision to increase prices on this hardware by this dollar amount. This is what the new quote would look like if we wait to move forward with it. And then I'd give you a deadline on when you need to make a decision by to honor the old pricing.
What's the turnaround time if we decided next week?
You decide next week, we can get started on this pretty much right away. I was talking to Lee about it before, and he thinks that we could get this done probably in a day or two total. It's not a huge project by any means. We just want to give ourselves enough time to get in, ensure everything's provisioned right, and make sure that you guys have logins and we get the training classes set up.
When we were talking about the projects, we mentioned our festivals that are coming up, and we'd like to, if possible, have it installed by the end of June so that we've got the coverage for our festivals.
And there's no obligation to move forward with the install right away. If you guys just say, hey, we want to move forward with this to lock in the pricing, you can let me know that. And then we can iron out the installation date at a later time. So don't feel like if you say yes, you want to move forward with this, you have to do it right away. So if there's other stuff going on, we can absolutely wait. We're flexible. But we do know that you guys have a deadline and you want to get it done before the festival. So we're sensitive to that, and we'll make it happen for you.
Sounds good.
All right, any other questions? All right. Okay, thank you, Danny, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for having me this evening, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care of this the next meeting or do that.
It's
You're
entirely
gonna
up
do
to
it
you guys.
then,
Do it tonight.
If you want to go with this company, we can definitely do it tonight. I can let them know.
Well, I mean, we've been looking for,
Yeah.
waiting for a year probably.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Chief, you see anything good, bad, indifferent?
I'm pretty impressed, especially when you look at the cost. I had concern with the service technicians, wherever they were coming from, but it sounds like they're pretty close if we have a problem, so.
And a lot of their technicians right now are doing the installation for the Toyota plant in Siler City. So they, they've done much bigger projects. Also, Transylvania County, they do the entire county. So all their county buildings, interior and exterior are done. The gentleman said that's over their department, that we had questions, we wanted to talk to them about the service. And they're more than welcome to reach out. He invited us to come view their system live if you wanted to. Of course, that's in the mountains, but Barbara and I'd be up here out in the mountains and look at it.
My only concern at this point would just be that the vendor seems to be based out of Asheville, and the representative has the pronouns in his social media bios. So I'm just wondering if there's a mismatch between the culture and values of the vendor and the town.
So,
Do we have, in terms of funding, do we have funds set aside for anything like this, or?
We don't have the funds in, that they were not budgeted as far as this budget year. It would be something we have to do a budget amendment for.
Okay. Well, I make a motion that we move forward with SCW on this quote, and do a budget amendment for whatever we need.
Second.
18,658.
18,658.70.
And if there's any changes, like if they get in and they have to add anything, I'll let you guys know.
Now, if they get in and there's and cabling is messed up, I know that they're planning on relying on that. That would be an extra cost, right? Okay.
And if we need one better camera, maybe at the farmer's market so we can see the intersection or something.
Yeah, he said that that has 100 feet. Like what he's on the diagrams that they show, like you can see it on your printout, it's kind of a circle. But they fix it on, say, this area, but it will catch the whole road. So in looking at the intersection when they were down here, I asked them to kind of look at like North Main, Salisbury, that intersection there, because we own that corner. We could probably mount a camera there and catch that whole area. And they have a 360 camera that would do this kind of, I think it's called a sheriff, and it does a complete scan of the area all the time.
Yeah, so they get both intersections there.
It would, and it would get coming and going.
oh, the way it is right now, you can't get the intersection right here at that.
No, but when they set those up, you know, we can tweak the layout and view, and then also later on, if we feel like that view's not what we need going forward, we can go in and change the views as well. But I will ask them about the intersections too.
Now, will you call him so we can get that locked in? Because I read today that after the night, so they're gonna go up 50% on the town.
I'll
I didn't know if we needed to get that in real quick before it's locked in. Get it locked in.
I'll reach out to them.
Yeah, 25% is pretty, right, not smart.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Proclamation, National Day of Prayer, May 1st. I'm going to read that. Whereas civic prayers and national days of prayer have a long and venerable history in our constitutional republic, dating back to the First Continental Congress in 1775. And whereas the Declaration of Independence letter state response to the North Carolina measure for operating net income loss for fiscal year 23-24 budget. Angel Jenkins.
Mayor Commissioners, this is the letter that we brought to you at our call meeting the end of March. And it is just clarifying the totals that our auditor, Mr. Carrick, gave us. The operating network net income was listed as 22, 23, and 24, and that was missing from the original report. So it shows that you have the net income for 2 years and then net loss. And this would be sent into the state. It is a new requirement that the state is requiring during our audits if we show any change of drastic measure, and we have to send in a reasoning why or what we're going to combat that. And so Mr. Carrick drafted a letter for us to send in. It is required that you as a board and mayor sign the letter in order to send in, let them know that we're aware and that we're looking to make changes for that. Do you have any questions?
Now it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Paula, she pulled it the next morning. We're like, oh, here we go. It was missing the header.
So it may turn 76,000 in 22. And we made 270,000 in 23, but we just lost 38 in 24. Okay. So we're still going ahead.
Resolution R24.
Mayor,
25.
if you don't mind, we need a motion and a
Do we need a motion on that? Okay.
I make the motion that we, the net income loss for FY 23-24 budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution R24-25-07, declaring town of Denton property surplus for public works department. Paula Hedrick.
Oh, you put me in?
Yeah, sorry.
All right, so Michael High, Public Works Director, provided us 2 items that he is ready to have surplus, one being the red bucket truck, 1985 F350, and also a service truck. It's a 1998 3500 model Dodge Ram.
I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Town Department Head reports. Administration, Paula Hedrick.
The April 2025 water bills, we billed 1,081 customers, 2,897,900 gallons. Handy Sanitary District March usage was 26,936,400 gallons. I had spoken with Jenna Atwell, which is the director for the South Davidson FFA, and they are planning on redoing our 4 planters again this year. We have also met with the Davidson County Extension Master Gardener volunteers, Susan Scarborough and Joe Craver, on 2 different occasions, actually a third being this last Friday, kind of getting a plan of action, and they're doing measurements and pointing out certain locations that, you know, we feel that would be good areas to have these pollinator gardens put, one being in Harrison Park, in the area of the big rock to the left of the pavilion, the community market area planner, Railroad Street on each side of the caboose, Harrison Park to the left of the memorial board, there's a small area there, and community market right side of the market structure. These would be done in phases, so it would not be something done all at one time. This would allow for budgeting and so forth.
I'd like to add to the welcome Denton sign, they need help awful bad.
Yeah, that's what I'll get those. I thought that'd be nice.
On the north and south end. Okay.
And what about the little park across from, the funeral home? I thought that would look nice if it had a little bit of landscaping, it looks beautiful sometimes. Which I know you use it for the
It
thing,
is.
but it looks like you could get a flower bed in there somewhere around those trees.
Okay.
They're around the old foundation of the porch.
Yeah. something like
We'll
that.
certainly look into that. I've also have been working with Kimberly Wyatt, the art teacher at South Davidson High School and Middle School, and they have prepared art and have it on display at the post office in the large display cabinet. Hopefully they will be able to do some additional pieces that we can actually display here in Town Hall. I've also spoken with our postmaster, Kevin Chapman, about utilizing the other 2 display cabinets with town information. We're going to start out with one of them doing kind of history. We've got a lot of new people in the community, so this would be a good idea to give them some history of our town, and then the other being a Denton Connect, where we're providing them information on the inner workings of local government, because I learned personally through the process of the solar farm that a lot of people don't understand a lot of the processes. So I think it would be a good idea to, connect with our residents and kind of inform them. And we'll do those in stages. And we'll not be all information at one time, and we'll just pick out a category and do a display.
Yeah, the art looks good, and that's a good resource to put that in there. We have art now in the village restaurant, not art, but I mean history in the village restaurant, so then history a little bit more.
And that's all I have.
Any questions for Paula? Thank you, Paula. Police Department, Chief Jenkins.
Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. First item I have, and I know you've been introduced to it briefly, is the issue that we just found out that on July 1st, our Motorola radios that are mounted in the police vehicles will cease working on July 1st. They've had a pretty good long life, but Motorola will no longer supports those, and they'll actually be cut off, or they will not work starting July the 1st. As you know, our officers work a 12-hour shift, relying simply on a portable radio with one battery. Could put the officer's life in danger. So we need a radio that we can count on inside the patrol vehicle, so that officer has a lifeline, especially those officers that are sometimes working by themselves. I think the town manager has provided you quotes of those. I originally had 3, and after researching the third quote, I don't believe that radio, even though it is new, is no longer supported. It's 700, 800 megahertz with a VHF backup, and I don't think that is something that we need. And according to Motorola, they no longer support those radios. So that brings us to the quote I got from Motorola or the one from Kenwood. As you see, the one from Kenwood is significantly less than the one from Motorola. We do currently have 3 portable Kenwoods, which seem to be giving great service, but we've only had them a few years, and I can't predict what would happen over the next 10 years. Are they still going to work and be reliable? We hope so, but we've not had the experience as we had with Motorola to know whether they're going to be as reliable or not. But that's something that's important. I wish I had known this before I found it out, but we were actually in a Motorola meeting, and we sort of found out by accident. We were there about something else, and somebody started talking about the life of these radios. So there we have that to deal with. The used vehicle we purchased from Archdale has decals on it, and is currently getting the watch guard camera installed on it. I think it'll be complete tomorrow. Thus far, we've inspected a little over 32 golf carts now. They're approved for use in the town in accordance with the golf cart ordinance. Proud to report that Captain Clodfelter has successfully completed the first FBI LEDA supervision class, and he's almost finished with the second class. And him being a frugal person actually talked the FBI LEDA into giving us the second class he's in now free of charge. So he saved the $350 tax dollars by doing that. Soon he will start in the third class, so congratulations on what he's completed thus far. Talked with Coy Barrier, and he is coming to repair the gutters at the police department, fire department. Had you been with me today when I came out the door to go to the courthouse in Lexington, it was like a waterfall coming out, and I think my t-shirt's finally dry. So we'd be glad to get that repaired, as well as he's going to add some leaf guard. And I think the manager is paying $1,200 to take care of that. While he's here, he is going to provide the manager with a quote for the old public works building, the shed there where the guttering has come off of it. So I think that will make it look a lot more presentable if we can get that done as well. The way we obtain OCAs, we've changed that a little bit. Used to, we only got an OCA number from the comm center if it was a reportable event, that we actually, the police officer took a report for either a crime or a traffic collision, or if we issued a citation. We're now getting an OCA/incident number, so that we as management can better keep up with what our people are doing. And as the town continues to grow, I think it will help us in assessing manpower needs and seeing how busy our folks are being during the day. Governor's Highway Safety, we recently got a brand new radar from them. It will be installed April 15th in Officer Gamal's car. So once we get him trained, we'll have another radar to control speed in town. A couple of people have expressed an interest in our reserve officer program. It's been pretty much non-existent since I have been here because we were concentrating on building up full-time positions. So hopefully we'll have funding to carry the reserve program on, so we've got better coverage. We do have a Lees McCrae student who's interested in an internship, 120 hours, and we plan on accommodating her this summer. Captain Clodfelter has talked to the professor, and I don't think there'll be a lot of paperwork that we have to do. It's just expending that 120 hours with her, which will help her with her education. Sad to report that on December the 13th, 2024, we had a bicyclist hit the utility pole in front of Briggs Funeral Home. That individual did pass away from injuries in March. They actually were hospitalized at some point in Elkin and was removed to the hospice house in Yadkin County, and our heartfelt sympathy goes out to the family in this tragic loss of life. Be glad to answer any questions you may have about police operations or any questions whatsoever.
I had a business to say something to me about bicycles on the sidewalk all the time, especially up here, how they'll fly by the post office and by those other stores, and then they won't even look at the side road, and said a lot of people don't even stop there anyway, and people on there constantly. And there was even someone riding Saturday with, they don't have a little wagon in the back with a little child in the back, and they were really worried that somebody was gonna mess around and get them, so I thought I'd mention that about bicycles on the sidewalk.
Thank you very much. We'll be on the lookout for that. And the manager and I have talked about it previously, but as it's getting warmer, the skateboard issue is gonna come back up. And looking at that ordinance, it's very archaic. I recommend that somewhere down the road, maybe we look at updating it to specifically include skateboards. When that ordinance was written, there was no such thing, I don't think, as a skateboard. So I thought maybe we could do that down the road, let the local newspaper know, and maybe we put it on our Facebook pages, and that's something that we will be enforcing. Because a lot of people expressed concern that they're afraid they're going to hit these kids on skateboards at night because they can't see them, and it is very dangerous. So down the road, I think we'll be looking to do something about that with your help with a new ordinance.
I just made a note of that.
All right. Anything else at all?
Well, you're gonna need these radios pretty quick, right?
Yes. The turnaround time is 2 to 3 months at best. So we're in a crunch to get them ordered. And we could be experiencing the same thing with, hopefully the prices will stay the same. But I know that Motorola's used to be made in Malaysia, and I'm not sure where they're actually made now. So we're actually getting radios probably in a way that are coming from other countries.
Have you had any trouble with Kenwoods?
We have not, none at all.
So you'd be comfortable if we went with the Kenwoods?
I think so. With the difference in the money, I'm willing to try it. And the only thing I can't tell you is how long they last, because we've only had them a short while. But and you did see in there one portable. Right now we have no spare portables. So if we do have a reserve officer working, they wouldn't have a radio. And if one were to break, we wouldn't have a portable. So I think we'd be wise to have a spare portable along with those 5 mobile radios.
Agreed.
If you're good with Kenwoods, I like saving $12,000.
Sounds good to me.
I make a motion we buy the Kenwoods for $16,320.28 or somewhere thereabouts.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Forward. Thank you.
Fire Department. Travis not here.
Kansas City.
Public Works, Michael High.
We just wrapped up the free bulk gallon pickup week. 8 dumpsters. We've repaired 6 water leaks. We got 2 more sidewalks to repair back, and we're heading to dig them up for water taps and repairing water leaks. We installed 2 water sewer taps. Been working with state utility contractors trying to get these 2-inch lines tied back in. And they work.
And Ricky's back.
Ricky's back.
Some today.
I still owe the mayor chief.
Do what?
Still owe the mayor chief, bro.
On the, Michael, on the bulky pickup, is that growing more than it used to be, or a little bit? People taking advantage of that?
No, they took advantage of it.
Okay.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
We just need to kind of, I think we need to kind of set some ground rules on it. I don't know, they threw a lot of tires that we couldn't do nothing with, and a lot of oil that wouldn't, you know.
The plan says that.
That's what it is. A lot of paint. If they open the lids, let the paint dry and throw it away. If it's liquid, we can't. You know, just kind of need to let them know a little bit more what they can and can't do. But, I mean, we separated it and we didn't have a trouble.
Cause isn't that part of what's done out in the mayor's corner thing, that
Yeah.
it has what
Yeah.
they can
And it's
and
on the
can't
website.
do?
It all
Yeah.
tells what you can and can't do.
Thank you.
Michael, on this new water line, I noticed they put a hydrant up there, 109, but it didn't go across.
No, I wish it had. I wish we would have gone over to the harbor. But it would have been contractable on the 109 and tie in. So now it's just dead end right there.
Water plant, Jason Fox.
Alright, so we had our MPDES inspection on March 4th. It went pretty good for the discharge. She did note that she'd like to see us, they want us to put a flow meter in for the discharge that's going out to the creek there from our wastewater. So we're talking to Michael about getting something set up out there. We finally got the sludge out of that lagoon. That big headache's gone, so we can do a lot more of that now. So we've got that land apt a week or so ago. So now we're working on getting one of the pumps rebuilt. Send the sludge that's going to be coming down there from the basins into the drying bed, so we'll be able to stay on top of it. So it won't hopefully ever become a problem like it has been recently. We're going to try and stay on top of it. Hopefully we'll get that pump rebuilt in the next couple of weeks. So that'll help us clean the basins. We got basin 2 clean, and next week or two we're going to clean basin 1. We just got this afternoon. We trained the operators on a new SCADA build. It's going great. It's going to flow paste the chemicals to the flow, or some of them at least, the pre-treatment chemicals. So that's going to help keep the chemicals in shape and keep the plant kind of tuned in and dialed in, and save money over time, because we'll know exactly what's being fed and what should be fed. So, nothing we're working on now is pump maintenance, kind of through the whole process. A lot of stuff is kind of leaking, need to be replumbed. So getting it kind of replumbed and getting the sight glasses fixed so we can do drawdowns on the chemical feed pumps, know exactly what they're putting out so we can be sure that we're dosing accurately. So we're working on getting those kind of fixed up and done. Rebuilding the carbon feed system, we're trying a different way that's gonna, if it works with, it's gonna save a lot of money without having to rebuild the whole carbon feed room. We're gonna feed it up into the flash mixer itself. Thomas, one of the operators, kind of came up with a good idea that we could be able to feed it without even the use of a pump, which is gonna be nice because that carbon slurry is real thick and a lot of times it clogs the pumps up. To get like a proper pump for that, it's like $5,000-$10,000. So hopefully this will work without a pump, and we're gonna hopefully have that installed the next week or two. We got the other 2 turbidimeters in. We're gonna hope to have them installed in the next week or so. And outside of that, we're just doing our monthly testing and maintenance and staying up to date on what we're dosing chemical-wise, at least making sure drought testing is done and getting all the operators familiar with that still. Questions?
Are you mowing the grass down there or somebody else?
Somebody comes in and mows it.
Yeah, I noticed it the other day, it looked good.
Yeah. Is it the same company that did it last year?
Being Cranford.
Any questions for Jay? All right, thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Troy Branch. How you doing, Troy?
I'm doing well. I hope you are, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Short list this month. We did land apply our biosolids on the 12th. We used the Woods Farm down on Handy Road. And David Nicholson took and passed his grade 3 wastewater treatment operator exam. So that was a big step. And really just our routine maintenance inspections this month. Any questions?
Have the engineers been down there looking about your basin?
Not in the last couple of months, no, sir. Is that it, sir?
Okay, thanks, Troy.
Jason, I'm sorry, I'm going back to you for a second. Can you tell me tell us any kind of update on the Handy project, how that's going?
They've had some, last I've heard they had they cleared a way to get back there. A couple weeks ago they were out there just pretty much clearing the area to get back there and doing some, test drill to see, the geology underneath the line back there.
Okay, thank you.
County Attorney update.
Good evening. I am going to reserve comment, and I'm going to be discussing some things with you guys in closed session.
Okay. Town manager's report.
You guys also were given a copy of a report from Travis Morris from the fire department, so you should have that with your information. And then you've also got your ACE report for the month. Just to review several projects, Spring Street, the repaving project that we spoke about last month, has been completed. It was done by the land developer and the housing development company. If you write out there, some of the very main concerns have been addressed. Of course, it's different color asphalt right now, but it'll fade. I think they did a really good job with the repairs, and it was done pretty quickly. Labella has also provided an update, so you guys have a copy of her report attached to your information. The waterline rehab project is almost complete. We will have a DEQ inspection coming up soon, so they can go ahead and sign off on that project to have it complete and paid. The bar screen and screw conveyor, Heather outlines this in her report, but she has did submit for the funding to be transferred, some of the funding from the I&I project over to the bar screen and screw conveyor. And we're just waiting on DEQ to provide us with yes or no on that. When we reached out to our inspector, they were going to try to follow up with that and let them know that we need an update on that as soon as possible.
So she thought they'd do it every 2 weeks, you know what she's doing?
Yeah, so we heard back on the waterline rehab and we were declined on that one, but they still hadn't replied back on the I&I transfer. So we heard from one, not on the other.
Do you know why we declined?
It was I think they had already used all the funding for that period of time, so they didn't have the funding. It comes in periods. So for that period, it already is, I'm trying to say, exhausted all the funds for that period of time. And I'll make sure that's what clarification was on that. The other thing, so the other studies that are going on, especially some that go through with them setting everything up with Trans-State on the I&I project, their network went completely out. I want to think it was the end of last week or the first of the week, like the end of the prior week. So they've lost their entire computer system in-house, and they have still not, as of Thursday afternoon, it's still not back up. When I spoke to the gentleman that's working the project here, not sure if it's ransomware or what.
Who lost it now?
Labella has lost their entire project, or their entire computer system.
What a shocker.
So it could happen to anybody, but they are working on trying to get that restored so that they can continue working with Trans-State on the I&I project. But there's details to that in Heather's report that she provided to you guys. Spoke with Summit Engineering regarding the Highway 47 interconnection project with the hydrant there at Fletcher Lane, and they have put in a request for everything to be located. They're actually getting the cost for this connection now, and I've asked them to have this proposal back to you at the May meeting. Wood Engineering is working on the AIA, and you guys have a copy. You guys have a copy of the letter that we submitted to DEQ, and it has a breakdown of the actual schedule for the works that they'll be doing. You should have one for water and one for wastewater.
In this packet?
Oh, sorry, is it not there?
What's gonna hold up at the meeting? Because they talk about the
Take one and
union,
pass.
then we
Sorry.
pull the trigger.
Right. Hold that thought, because I'm working on gluten right at the moment.
Oh, I thought we didn't see it.
No. So the letter that's going around is submitted to DEQ, and this just gives them update on what the AIA studies are both are going to do.
Thanks.
It has the time frames for each project at the bottom. Still this one's always not on my head. And it tells the cost. Of course, the grants that we received for each were $200,000. And it shows the time frame in which these projects will be completed. It's just, like I said, it's just a copy of the scope of work that'll be done. If you have any questions on that before we move forward?
Are these prices contract? They can't go up?
No, they can't go up.
President can't make them go up?
Well, if they go up, it's gonna have to come off with something else, so hopefully they're locked in with Wooten. It's not something that we have reached out and set up. So Wooten's aware that they need to make sure those prices are good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the AMI meter project is moving forward. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background that just takes some time. The software setup we just approved at the meeting we held at the end of March. And so Southern Software is working with Borderline to get the system set up, all of the accounts in order, making sure that when they go out and start putting these meters in, that we don't lose any data when the transition takes place. They're also wanting to try to do this around our billing cycle. We read meters approximately the 15th of the month, and we bill close to the last day of the month, so they want to roll it out when it's less likely to lose readings or information during that time. So that the meters are at Public Works, and they have, like I said, a lot of it's behind the scenes that you're not seeing. Antennas are installed and they're working properly. We did not have to do a tower at the water plant. It was actually able to be mounted in the attic. So that saves some money on that as well. Okay.
So wait a minute, okay, they want to start installation around our billing cycle, so they plan to get all this done In one billing cycle?
They'll do it out in phases.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I thought, wow.
No, yeah, it'd be great if it was, but no, they'll do it out in phases, so, as the information, like, let's say if they did Clark Acres, they would do that area, put it into our system, make sure that everything's working well, and then they'll move to the next system. So over two billing cycles, which would be 60 days, they should have them installed.
Okay.
And I'll let you guys know, when they are gonna put that first meter in and move forward. The sidewalk project that was approved for us to contract out, we have, again, with the way we have with contractors, we have not had any luck with having anyone else come back out and give us a quote on this job. We had one gentleman out of Raleigh that came down. I don't know if it's because the project's kind of small compared to what, larger contract companies are doing. So I think at this point is Michael and I getting together, him giving me the areas that are most concerned and the sizing and just do an RFQ out. And we've asked for contractors just come in and say this is what we're looking for, but if we specifically say this is what we want, no other frills. Some of the concerns that the one gentleman had is the way that they feed into our local businesses. The sidewalk is broad in some places, and it also feeds right into their doorways, and making sure that you don't create a hazard. The other area there at M.A. Pickett's is trying to figure out how to restructure that, and also keeping it ADA compliant. So it's a lot in that to take into consideration. We will have 2 public hearings at our next meeting on May the 5th. One is to hear and approve the annexation for the Old Farm Estates. And that will also cue the subdivision plat review, which will be taking place at the May 12th Planning Board meeting. Also have a public hearing for consideration of a contract with Mount Vista Health Park to reduce the tap fees from out-of-town rates to the in-town rates. The roofing, we've received several quotes. Michael and I were talking this afternoon, and every quote we had was